holding my 9-month-old baby, and he is the cutest little thing I've ever seen, with his button nose and this little blonde cowlick, and I feel like I've made it. And I look up at my computer, and I find out that 12,000 people want me fired. I was living my dream life at The Wing. The Wing, for those of you who don't know, was a co-working space. And it was dedicated to the advancement of women through community. And I was the director of community. Every day, I would take my keychain off the hook. My keychain, by the way, said, "Girls doing whatever the fuck they want in 2018. I would drop it in my purse, and I would make my way to work. I'd get to work, I'd say hello to everyone at the front desk, and I'd make my way to the beauty room. Yes, the beauty room. And I would sit down on a plush velour chair, look into the mirror, vanity lights all around it, and I would look at that woman sitting there, and I would tell her, "You suck." It's June 2020. I'm on another Zoom call that could have been an email. And my colleague looks at me and says, "Are you okay?" And I can't always read the room. I take it as an opening. Well, there's a global pandemic happening, and this company is kind of crumbling beneath us. And also, I have a new baby, and that's kind of crazy. So, no, not so okay. And she's looking at me. She's like, "Oh, no, that's not what I meant. Jackie said this thing about a petition." And I look at her blankly. And she's like, "Oh, never mind, never mind." Poof, disappears off the screen. So I do what any self-loathing millennial would do. I Google myself, Frenchie Ferenczi, petition, and I find it. First thing, a demand for real change at the Wing. And I click the link, and I scan the page looking for my name, and I find it. My name next to a bunch of other people on the leadership team. And the petition is demanding our termination for poor leadership and for misgendering people who worked in our spaces. I scroll down, I keep looking, and I find it. 12,000 people have signed it. The next day, I get laid off. And this might surprise you, but there's no guidebook for what you do when you've been listed on a petition demanding your termination and 12,000 people have signed it. So I hide. I call my former boss and I ask her to help me with my resume. She's like, "Frenchie, we got this. You just need to show people everything you accomplished, everything you did." I'm like, "Accomplished? I didn't just get written up on a petition. I clearly hurt these people." She's like, "It's okay, it's okay. You just need to use words like omni-channel member journey." Interesting. But the worst part is that I am terrified to go into a job interview because I know that if I go into a job interview, I need to own it. I need to be able to speak to what happened, and I don't want to. So, conveniently, I have a 9-month-old. And I think, ooh, motherhood. People make that look really good. I can just be this like mommy goddess walking around Central Park breastfeeding and then strap my baby to my back and just enjoy every squeak and moment. I can do that. And I'm at the playground and I'm pushing the swing back and forth, and back and forth. And the chains are squeaking, and my brain is turning to mush. And as much as I love this sweet little baby, I do not love this moment in time and spending all my days admiring his every cute little moment, no matter how cute they are. No job, no full-time motherhood. Now what? So I really hoped this would be the moment when I could tell you. And then I rose from the ashes. I was triumphant. Thank you. Not quite. I meet up with some of my former colleagues from the wing, and we're having coffee, we're chatting, and one of them starts talking about her new job at a software company. And she is jazzed. She's like, yes, we are going to get to 1 million daily active users. My other colleague is still at the wing, and they are just grasping to rebuild something that was so broken, there was no real hope there. And I'm sitting with both of them, and they're going back and forth, and they're ping-ponging the jargon again, and there we go, CAC and LTV and KPI, and I'm like, holy hell, I used to do this, but I can't anymore because it didn't work. I leave the meeting, our meetup, and I call my husband. And I tell him, I'm going to start a business. And now here's how I know I married the right man, because his first thing he says to me is, okay. And then he says, doing what? And I'm like, I don't quite know yet, but I know that at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror, I do not want to tell that person, you suck. So I start my business as a business strategist. I'm going to help people grow their businesses differently. I was uniquely equipped to do it. I had scaled startups. I had managed big teams. I knew what it took. But there was a missing piece. I didn't want to talk about the wing, the petition, or the fact that I just stood by and watched these things happen that actually hurt people. I realized that I needed to do something more. You see, the wing's mission was the advancement of women through community. But we were so focused on that mission that we forgot to advance our teams, to think about our teams, and to think about the impact that we have on the people who work for us. The wing's mission was the advancement of women through community. And we were so focused on supporting women that we forgot that there were so many other people who deserved a seat at that table that we didn't make room for. The wing's mission was the advancement of women through community, but what we worked for every day was to advance the mission of our investors, and every single day, we put profits over people. I started at the wing because I thought it was a really cool job, and I wanted to get to the C-suite, and I wanted to build this billion-dollar business. And I worked for that. And I stood by and watched when I saw so many things happen that weren't aligned with my values, that weren't aligned with the respect for others that I knew I had and that I know was instilled in me from a very young age. I had to live with that. But I start my business, and I pretend none of that is real. And let me tell you, marketing yourself and your experience, when you won't talk about your experience, not a great sales strategy. Hire me. Why? Because I said so. So I'm running my cute little business, and 2 years later, the doors to the wing officially shut down. I breathe a sigh of relief. That chapter of my life is over. We are done. We can move on. But I couldn't really move on. I couldn't move on because even though the wing was closed, what happened at the wing wasn't over. It was still real. And I still woke up in the morning realizing and knowing and kind of owning that I also put profits over people, that I didn't stand by the values that I know I have. And so I decided to write an op-ed for The Independent, sharing a story very similar to the story that I'm sharing with you today. It comes out on a Friday. Nothing happens. There was no one chasing after me with pitchforks. There was no fanfare. I didn't suddenly have clients knocking at my door being like, her, I want her. But finally, I felt like I could own my shit. I could own the knowledge and wisdom and experience that I had built, and I could own the parts of me that I don't really like, but that are real and true. The thing about your shit, and we all have it, sorry, you all seem like great people. Is that if you don't own your shit, at some point, your shit is gonna own you. I'm Frenchie Ferenczi. I'm a business strategist. I help small businesses grow in a way that's aligned with their values, that unlocks the lifestyle that they want. And all of us one day are going to be in a space where we see stuff that we don't like, that we don't agree with, that doesn't feel aligned with our values or the values that we want to have. And in those moments, we have choices. You can speak up, generally a good idea. But sometimes we can't speak up. Sometimes our voices aren't heard, and you can walk away. Or you can stick around and watch it happen. But when you do that, at some point, you're gonna have to own your shit. And if you don't, 12,000 people might just make you do it. Thank you.